has been very low. And we should, as individuals and as representatives of institutions, when we talk about education and schools for our community, when we talk about raising funds for our kids, when we talk about Quran, when we talk about this, we should remember that we do all of this to enjoy this spiritual fulfillment that results in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and very specifically gaining, please excuse me, landing in Jannah in the end. So I hope that inshallah before we leave, we go straight to the subject. Instead of debating unity here and there, it's over. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the end double, triple the rewards of the brothers who have created this opportunity, and all of us who have participated in this opportunity. And I hope inshallah this meeting will go in the history of Muslim presence as another milestone that encourages Muslims to move on, motivates them, instead of turning into a very pale and disappointing memory that Muslims, when they come together, they cannot agree on anything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you, all of us, protect our deen, and help us to share the blessings of Islam.
Take a note, we are recording you, and we're recording every word you say. So you are accountable for every word you put on that camera. You and everybody else too. At this point, we, as our host, Dr. Ibrahim Elgindy, he wants us to adjourn at 11 o'clock. Some of us feel it's a little too late, but it's probably as a first meeting. If we can shorten it, that's fine. If we cannot shorten it, in order to be able to shorten it, I would like to call on a few brothers who represent a large communities, large organization, and have them reflect on the handout they have, reflect on what they heard so far in the past 2 hours, and either make a comment, make suggestions, make alternatives, propose something workable. As we heard, I trapped you and I made you vote for unity. It was intended, so nobody can dissent. Nobody can say, hey, I wasn't there and I didn't vote for it. And I saw all hands up. It was unanimous. So from here, I would like to call on a few, and excuse me because we will not have enough time between now and 11 o'clock to have everybody speak for 5 minutes maximum. First, I would like brother, our eldest here, Brother Abdul Hamid Dogar, to come over here and reflect. As I say, what we need is a concrete ideas, reflection on what we heard so far, and present either support or alternative. Brother Abdul Hamid Dogar is one of the founders of the Muslim Community Centers and the Islamic Foundation. And are you the director of the school, Ya Akhi, now?
I'm chairman of the school committee.
The chairman of the school committee at the Islamic Foundation, which I had son in that school last year.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah fa bayna qulubihim walau anfaqta ma fil ardi jamiyya ma allafta bayna qulubihim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us as a great favor to the Muslim that He brought their hearts together as a one ummah among those warring tribes. And although later on the Muslims showed certain weaknesses, but this unity continued up till the end of the last century, or up to the end of the First World War. And many Muslim countries that although came into existence, but still the Muslims, when they were going from one part to the other, they did not need any visa, they did not need any passport. They could go and stay any long time they wanted to stay in there. They could become the ambassadors of go there, commander-in-chief, they could hold any position there. But later on, when the imperialist powers took over the Muslims one by one, they created the spirit of nationalism among the Muslims. First among the Turks, created in the about 1875 or 80, and then later on they made us fight as Turks and Arabs, and now we are fighting as Arabs and Arabs. I don't know. This is the worst thing which can happen, and this is the while we were defeated at the battlefield physically, mentally or spiritually, we were defeated by their philosophy, by their culture, by their civilization, and today we even try to interpret the Quran to bring it in line with the Western civilization. We have a mental slavery. Unfortunately, most of our leaders and others, we have to get out of that. Unity, we have to come back. It is a very important subject for us. It is a thing which we have lost and was most valuable to us. But unity does not mean what I say, that is unity, and not what you say. Unity, we have to unite on something which is right and just. And right and just is only that which is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should unite around that. How we should go, what should be the mechanism, I really do not know. But whatever do you wise people will decide, we will go along with that, sacrificing whatever we have to sacrifice, because I personally attach a great importance to unity among the Muslim Ummah. One of my brothers, he used to say here, the Muslims makes a joke. He said, Islam teaches us there are 5 pillars of Islam. There are 5 pillars in Islam, but we actually have 6 pillars. And he said, what are the 6 pillars? 6 pillars is this, that we fight with each other. Everywhere, whether we are in centers here, whether we are in Muslim governments here, nowhere we are safe from this unity. So I am fed up with this unity. I am all for this unity, and we will support it fully. But as I said, I do not know the mechanism. Whatever the mechanism you people come along with, I am more than 100% will be, inshallah, supporting that on behalf of our community. We have 3 board members here, myself, Brother Faisal, and Brother Skandar Saeed, and I can assure you that we will be, inshallah, supporting as much as you will be getting as much support for this unity concept and for this council, whatever you come up with. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Give me blank signature. I'd like to call on Dr. Talal Simboli, the president of the Mass Foundations, to reflect on what he heard, and what can he add, please. Dr. Talal Simboli is a practicing physician and specializes in gastroenterology, if anybody has a stomach problem.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Having heard the brother talking about unity, it's a matter of fact that it's here already. The idea how to implement this unity. We have to be practical and start as soon as possible. We did have kind of unity for the Islamic organization in the 70s, and for one reason or the other didn't work right. I want to move from this right away to start talking about the mechanic of unity. The way I envision that, talking about the unity of the Islamic organization present in Chicago area. There's many goals and activity that each organization cannot do it alone. And they have to be together to be able to achieve those goals. Mention some of those goals: education, a relation with media, fundraising, and major program for youth and children. Those only some, not all of them. If we could come to an agreement to establish an ad hoc committee from our members now, 4 or 5, from 3, 4, 5 of the Islamic organization in Chicago area, take what we have for the last 2.5 hours, look at it, work together, and come with a final vision to what kind of council or coordination we could have for those members, and establish that as soon as possible. What I'm saying, this ad hoc committee should be able to formalize some kind of vision about what we're talking about unity in about 3-4 weeks, and ask the brother to meet again, look at it, decide on it, and get out of it certain area that those organizations will be able to work on. Again, this education, media, youth, children, and fundraising. And the one we shouldn't forget it, it's the Eid committee, because it is it's very obvious. This is what I have. I'll be more than happy to share some of the other ideas after the other brother will speak about the same subject. Assalamu alaikum.
MashaAllah, I'm surprised. Nobody taken the 5 minutes, advantage of the 5 minutes. Sort of unusual, because we people, we like to talk. At this time, I'd like to call on Brother Qaisar al-Din. Qaisar al-Din is the president of the Muslim Community Center, again, to reflect on what he heard and give us some of his ideas.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم. About 10 or 12 years ago, I don't remember exactly when there was this massacre in the camps, Chachullah. Right after that, maybe a month or so after, there was a Eid al-Adha prayer, and some people came up with the idea that after the prayer there should be a procession of the cars that should go from the prayer was held at that time in amphitheater, and the idea was to demonstrate our concern or grief at the massacre that took place. And Brother Ibrahim Elgindy jumped on the idea and organized a car procession that was very effective, probably more effective than anything else that was ever done in Chicago area, because there were miles of cars carrying black flags and going through the downtown area. And so Brother Ibrahim Elgindy demonstrated at that time his organizational ability. And tonight's meeting is again a tribute to Brother's aggressive pursuit of something that he wants accomplished, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him for that. Coming to the proposal itself, here's where, after your presence, Brother Ibrahim Elgindy, appreciating your efforts, I think I have a right to criticize a little bit also. I was under the impression that we are gathering here tonight to address how political awareness can be created among Muslims and how we can proceed in a way to assert ourselves politically in the Chicago area and possibly in the United States. The agenda has expanded drastically from that one aspect to unity of Muslims, and this is one of the weaknesses of us Muslims. So we should not be disappointed if we go empty-handed from here tonight, because we take upon ourselves such a big task that we are not able to digest. We are not able to accomplish. We need to maybe we can appoint a committee, as a brother has already pointed out, to look over the proposal. There are obviously two ways of accomplishing the unity of Muslims in the Chicago area. Not to mention unity at a national level. ISNA has been an organization for a long time. And on the same concept, individual membership, grassroots level, all the members belong to one organization, and then there are local chapters and so on. Maybe Brother Ibrahim Elgindy is proposing the same thing on the local level. But there are practical difficulties in achieving that goal. I don't want to take the time to go into the practical difficulties, but the other approach is to establish a coordination among the existing organizations. There are organizations, MCC, Islamic Foundation, Mosque Foundation, there are probably 30 organizations in the Chicago area. Establishing a coordination between these organizations is another way, probably more practical way in my opinion, because I've been thinking about this for a long time also. Unfortunately, for the past 2 years I've been preoccupied with the purchase of the school building in Morton Grove and could not give any time to this at all. But that's something, once you look into the coordination aspect, then you run into all these questions that there are so many different types of organizations in the Chicago area. Some are centers, some are without centers, some are local in the basement, some are major, some are minor, some have very specific tasks that they undertake, and so on. So you need to come up with a structure that suits, that accommodates all these different types of organizations as well. So let me spend a couple of minutes on the political agenda also, if I may, because I gave some thought to before I came here what I want to speak on, and the importance of it also. Brothers and sisters, there are no sisters here. Brothers, yes, interesting. What we went through, some brothers have already said that maybe the worst thing that has happened to Muslim Ummah. I don't think it was the worst thing, because past 10 years we've seen Iraq and Iran fight each other and kill 1 million Muslims between themselves. I don't think this could ever come close to being as worse as that as the Iraq war, between Iran and Iraq war. And let us face it, a lot of the Muslim countries sided with one side, and maybe one or two Muslim countries also sided with the other side. So but what definitely was different about this, and why we feel so much about this, was that America was involved in it, and America was involved in inflicting the kind of damage that has been inflicted, and we are now living as American Muslims, as Americans here in America. When just 2 days before the war, a vote taken in the Senate about the resolution to go ahead with the military activity, the Senate voted 52 to 47 to authorize the use of force to the president. I'm wondering if the 5 million or 6 million Muslims who are living here in this country, if they had all picked up their phone and at least made one phone call to their senators, would the vote have been any different? We will never find out, because we never tried it. Well, we living as Muslims, we may have come from India, we may have come from Pakistan, we may have come from Egypt, Syria, and different countries. But let us face it, we do not have any influence with the countries from where we have come. You cannot call the ambassador of Saudi Arabia and expect that he will listen to you. You cannot call the ambassador of Egypt and expect that he will listen to you. So those influences are not there. No matter how much we try to see ourselves as part of that world, we are not. But we are concerned about that world. But we are part of this world. And here,